Hello, Dolls people. It's Susan Diaz from the 4am report. We're going to try little something new here, and you know, we're basically waiting for Will to join us to give us a little minute. And as soon as he's here, we'll get started chatting about something that we've been dying to talk to you about. I think he's going to be here in a second.
Hi, Susan.
Oh my God, that was so stressful. Like
I know.
even
I wish I could help you. I don't know how to tell you how to do this.
it's funny. It's like it's so sad. We run digital companies and we've somehow managed to not do anything live for like 2.5 years. And now we're like, whatever, we'll just do it.
We just need to know how to talk about the technology. I never promised that I can.
Exactly. It's not my job to know how to work that shit. It's my job to tell you how to work that shit.
Right.
Hey, look, there's some people here. I see Markably. Hi, Cynthia.
There's Kieran.
Hi, Kieran. Look, Mitrin's here. Look, our friends and family and clients. We love it.
I know. I just sent a little note saying, hey, we're going to do this at 4 as a test run and try something out. Please join just so we're not alone. So
don't leave me hanging. Like, no.
Hi, Marissa. So what we wanted to do is we've been talking about doing this for 2 years probably, right, Susan?
Right.
What we wanted to do was try IGTV, or IG Live, I should say. Just another, channel, another way to reach people to try. And we're calling this, for those of you who used to watch The Hills and shows like that, they always did an after show. Marissa, you know what I'm talking about. They did an after show. So we're calling this the 4 p.m. after show, relating to our 4 a.m. report that goes out Thursday at 4 a.m. So this is kind of the after show where we're going to chat a little bit about the episode that you should go listen to. And then also because it's Thursday, of course, right, Susan? We thought we would lean into, like, surprise, we're drinking.
So everybody's drinking. We're just talking about it.
Yeah. So, and also another reason to celebrate, hence the bubbles, another reason to celebrate, the 4am report, the podcast we've been doing for a year, is turning 1 in 2 weeks, basically. And it's also going to be our 50th episode. So June is a very exciting time for us. And it's been quite the year. So, we're here and we're really excited. So we're going to be celebrating that for a little bit as well. But let's start, Susan, by...
Hey, Cynthia says the 4 p.m. recap. Yes, consider the show renamed.
The 4 p.m. recap. Oh, I was so wedded to the after show. It was a thing for my
Okay, let's do the after show.
No, I think the recap sounds better. The recap sounds better. So let's talk about the episode that just went out at 4 a.m. on Thursday. It was all about establishing ROI and how if you're a small business, an entrepreneur, sometimes just looking at those numbers can be a little disheartening. Well, this whole episode of the podcast, we talk about other ways, more emotionally intelligent ways, perhaps, to measure ROI. Susan, why don't you explain a little bit?
Yeah. So we chatted through a few things. Obviously, it's a 20-minute episode. Have a little listen. It's micro, but, and powerful. But we touched on a few things. And I guess the one that surprised me, or surprises most people, we've gotten used to this right now, is that the most ROI of all the factors comes out of dark social, right? So let's explain dark social a little bit. It's when you don't actually think somebody knows you at all. Like they've never engaged with a thing that you've done. They've never really conversed with you in any way, but then you suddenly know that they either referred someone to you or they've somehow come into contact with your content and chosen not to say anything, right?
Yeah. No, that's a lot. We have a classic example of when we knew that what we were putting out on social media was really being consumed, and there was a value to really paying attention to that little square you get in someone's feed as they scroll down. To stand out was when we were at an event and someone came up and said, oh my gosh, I see what you guys do every week for the 4 a.m. report, but we've never seen them anyway in any of our reports or noticed their name before. And that actually led to a new business opportunity. So that really made us lean into the promotional images, the snappy writing, all of that mattered more, perhaps, than the actual podcast itself. Because by scrolling, I see, oh, look, Susan's got some funny pictures up and she's talking about another episode of the 4 a.m. report. I'm not going to listen this week. It's just the value of, as much as you're investing in a podcast and want it to be really great, you can't overlook.
It's more than that.
You
right?
can't overlook
it's so
that.
much more than that.
Yeah. So
you've got to sort of like, I guess what we were trying to point out there is, don't get disheartened by the two ends of the scale. It's not only about like your vanity metrics, which is like how many listens or downloads or whatever. And when people publish these large numbers, it's easy to get discouraged. Like, don't go there. But, and also the other end of the scale is like, how many people actually purchase something because of this piece of content. That's a complex ROI thing to establish. It's not instant unless you have phenomenal systems. So what is that gray area is what we're exploring. So that's kind of the gist of the episode. We wanted to take you behind the scenes, like no makeup, no hair, no nothing, Let's just we'll never save this. Will we? These like sad 7 people who are watching this.
No. So we did a little recap there of what the episode 49 is about. And next week we're going to replay some of our favorite episodes as we lead up to episode 50. Woohoo. But also what we were going to do with our short little Instagram live here was, because it is Thursday, #Thirsty Thursday, Susan's got a few things she wants to call out that she's seen this week that she wants to stamp as too thirsty.
I agree. Yeah, I mean, I'm all about thirsty, like be as thirsty as you want to be, but you've got to have these lines where you're like, just don't do that. And usually you've heard me say this 100 times, my way of figuring that out is, would you do this in person? If you wouldn't do this in person, then just don't do it in the digital world, right? And so one thing is purely digital. I've noticed a lot of people liking their own posts. Right? So you, like, let's say a business post something, go in and like it as the individual who owns the business. That's fine if you have a separate account, but don't be like, post something and then like it yourself. That's the same as saying something and being like, oh, look, so clever, and patting yourself on the back. And that's just way too thirsty.
Right. And then what was your other one that I think we could all resonate a little bit with?
That was a bit of a business process thing, actually. I've started to find, like, I guess what are we 2 months into this whole like shutdown, crisis times or whatever, and a lot of people took a pause and reset themselves and didn't do a lot of the sales calling and blind emailing that they did before. But it seems like something's changed, and at the end of 2 months they're like, oh, let's go back to business as usual. So I've been receiving a lot of unsolicited sales calls from people, and what is significantly pissing me off is they'll call you once, and then if you don't answer the phone, they'll call you again. And so you see a call twice from the same number. And in crisis times, you respond to that sort of thing by being like, oh shit, is someone dying? Do I need to call back? And then you call back and you get, put into some system. And I've seen this happen from financial institutions, from like telecoms, from, a couple of those usual like cold calling systems. So like, if there's anyone out there from the large organizations who are using these, sales and marketing tactics, like take a little look at it. Like, and that's too thirsty, guys. I mean, making someone be afraid and getting them to call you back is not how you want to win a sales call. Yep.
No, I agree. And then I do have something about the too thirsty. And I see my friend Kim just joined as well. Hi, Kim. And Kim, you'll be able to understand what I'm about to say. So I'm going to call myself out for being too thirsty. I think maybe it's because I live alone, and maybe I've been feeling needy. But I find that, and I realize I do this, but I can't stop myself. I take pictures of every single meal I make. I send the snapshot of my run results every time I run. I send pictures of me after looking sweaty to the same group of friends over and over and over again without fail. And at first you get good feedback. It's like, oh, good for you, good run. And then like now it's kind of crickets. But instead of like stopping doing it, I've doubled down and I'm cluttering up their texts and their emails with even more. I can't help it. I'm compulsive about it. But maybe this is a lesson for us all to learn that sometimes there is value in not just putting everything out, spraying everything you can on all channels everywhere. Right. Good for being consistent, but also maybe you want to create some FOMO. Maybe I just update you, Kim, once a week when I go on a run, right? So
Quality
I am
over
stamping myself
quantity.
as too thirsty this week. I don't know if I'm going to change though, because I am still feeling pretty needy, but we'll see.
You know what? There's a couple things I'm hearing. Number one, this explains why when you keep bombarding your feeds, consistency is important, but don't overdo it. That's why you're noticing like a drop. And the second thing is, if it's really dropping, stalk your friends and send twice as many, and they'll get stressed out and respond.
Yeah, or really, like, I don't know. I'm gonna figure out something new to get them hooked again. I don't know, but yeah. So there's our Thirsty Thursdays and our little 4 a.m. report recap. Again, Susan, cheers for a year of podcasting.
Cheers,
I don't know
honey.
if you can tell, I've got the C+P flute here. It's got our logo on it.
Oh shit! I was
flute.
supposed to do that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. But yeah, thanks everybody for tuning in on our little trial run here with IG Live. Yeah.
Real behind the scenes, Thirsty Thursday, people. If you'd like us to talk about anything in particular, you know, let us know. There's all kinds of ways. Bye.
Bye, guys. Bye, Susan.